Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you here. For those of us joining us for the first time, my name is Stella. Welcome to Sew with Stella. Please, if you are here to subscribe, click on the subscribe button and also hit on the notification bell for you to be notified each time I make a new upload. Thank you. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to draw my horizontal and vertical lines, but I'm going to explain. This is my shoulder line. This is my chest line. That's this line. Then this is my bust line. This is my under bust. This is my waistline. I think it would be better for me to just shoulder chest line, which can also be called the upper bust. Then this is my bust line. This is my waistline, and then is this is my under bust line, and this is my waist line. So that is that. So the next thing for you to do is to determine where you want your corset to start. So where do you want your corset to start? For mine, I'm going to be using 7 inch. I'm going to be using 7 inch. So I'm going to mark 7 inch. I want to have a straight line, so I'm going to mark it here and here, then connect. So this is where my corset will be starting. So what I'm going to do next is to take note of my bust span. My bust span is 7.5. 7.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 3.75. So I'm going to mark 3.75 here, and I'm going to mark 3.75 here, and then I'll use my ruler to connect. Make sure that you measure accurately. Yes. So I'll connect. So after connecting, what I'm going to do is to measure, that's from my bust line to my under bust. What I have is 3.5. So I'm going to mark the 3.5 round. I'm going to mark the 3.5 round. Sorry, not, I mistakenly marked 3. This is not supposed to be. It's 3.5, so it should be here. It should be here. So just ignore these two dots here. It should be here. So as you can see, I've marked the 3.5 round. So what I'm going to do next is to take the dart. And to take that, I'm going to mark 1 inch on both sides. 1 inch on both sides. And I also do same on the waist, on both sides. And then I'll connect. So after connecting it, I'll connect it to the bust point. Let me go ahead and use this. You can see it. So I also mark 1 inch here, 1 inch here. That's 1 inch on both sides. So after that, I'm going to come up by 2 inch. That's on my bust line. I'm going to come up by 2 inch. So it depends on that's this for the center of the corset. It depends on how deep or on how wide high you want it to be. So my I came up by 2 inch. You can decide to use 1.5. So it all depends on what you want. For mine, like I said, I came up by 2, and I'm going to mark 0.5 inch. This 0.5 inch, I want the center of the corset to be just a total of 1 inch. Take note that we are not going to add seam allowance to this. We're not going to add seam allowance to it. This is when we are cutting on our fabric. That's when we are going to mark the seam allowance. So I joined, I connected the dots. I also come here to mark 0.5 so that I'll have a straight line here. So after that, I'll go ahead and connect this dot. I'll connect this to this. I'll connect this to this. I'll connect this to this. So what I'm going to do next is to, you see this dot that we have here. Take note that, remember those dots I as in marked round. You see it round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out by 0.5 inch. 0.5 inch, which is here. Take note, this is because our bust on this side is fuller than that of this side. So that's why we are, we have to add that 0.5 inch. So I'm going to connect this to this dot to this dot. You see it. Then the next is to connect this, draw a straight line to connect here to the armhole. And then after that, I'll connect this to this and this to this. So you can see how beautiful our corset is looking. You can see how beautiful our corset is looking. So what you have to do is to go ahead, any sharp edge around, you just smoothen it out. Any sharp edge, you smoothen it out. And also, if you want to add, just make it to be more beautiful, you can decide, go ahead to just, shape it. Just shape it the way you want it to be. It all depends on how you want yours to look, on how you want yours to look. So that is that. So that's that. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and take the measurement. And for my bust is 36. 36 divided by 4 is going to give me 9. It's going to give me 9. Let me take it this way. It's going to give me 9. So this is 9. 9. I'm going to mark 9. This is 9. So take note that this dart, I'm going to measure it. This dart here, I'm going to measure it. It's about um 0.75. 0.75. So 0.75 plus 0.5 inch that I will use to add the dart is going to give me a total of 1.25. 1.25. So I'll go ahead and mark here. So that is it. Then on my underbust, my underbust is 33. 33 divided by 4 is going to give me um 8.25, which is here 8.25. This 8.25. Then 8.25, I'm going to add this 2-inch that we're going to cut off. So 2-inch that we're going to cut off plus 0.5 inch I'm going to use to add the panels together will give me a total of 2.5. So this is 2.5. 2.5. And then on my waist is 32. 32 divided by 4 is going to give me 8. is going to give me 8. This is 8. This is 8. So 8 plus this 2 inch, this 2 inch that's the dart that we have here, which is 2 plus 0.5 inch. I'm going to use to join the darts together is 2.5. So I'll come here and mark 2.5. So that is that. So the next thing I'll do is to go ahead and mark and connect. Go ahead and connect. So that's that. You can see how our corset is. We have been able to draft it. You can see how simple it is. If you have any question, let me know on the comment section. I'll be glad to answer your question. So the next thing to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut. Take note that I didn't add seam allowance. I didn't add seam allowance. So when cutting on your fabric, make sure you add your seam allowance. Please make sure you add your seam allowance. Please, before I continue cutting, please remember to label the label your pattern. Remember to label your pattern, please. So here I'm just going to put 1 2. I'm going to put 1 2 so that it help you to know where to put which, so that you don't misjoin it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. So this is basically what our corset looks like. It will not stay in place, so I had to use a masking tape to hold it down. So you can see how beautiful it is. Please, if you have any question, please let me know in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer your question. So let's move over to the back panel. So for the back panel, I've gone ahead to draw my horizontal and vertical line, but I'm going to explain. This is the zip allowance. It's just 1 inch zip allowance. You can decide to use 1.5. It depends on what you are used to. So this is from the zip allowance. This is the shoulder line. This is the chest line, and this is the waistline. Take note that we don't really need the bust line and under bust for the back panel, since our bust is not at the back. So that is it. So what I'm going to do is just to take note of my bust span. 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. I will mark it 3.75. Take note that I'm starting here. I'm not starting at that zip area, zip allowance area. So 3.75, 3.75 here, and I'm also going to mark 3.75 here, here, and then I'll go ahead and connect. So for the back that I'm just going to take 1/2 inch on both sides. I'm going to take 1/2 inch on both sides and then connect it. You can decide to come down by 1 inch or 1/2 inch, or you can decide to start here. So it's almost still the same thing. So I'll just go ahead and connect. So after that, I'll take my measurement. My bust is 9. My bust is 36. 36 divided by 4 is going to give me 9. So I'm going to mark 9. I'm going to mark 9. Then you can decide to add the 1/2 inch that you used to add this panel to this panel. So 1/2 inch. Then here, my waist is 32. 32 divided by 4 is going to give me 8. 8. So this is 8. I'm going to mark 8. Then take note that we are going to cut off this dart. So this dart, which is 1 plus half inch that we are going to use to add the panels together, is 1.5. Is 1.5. So I'm going to add 1.5, just like we did for the front panel. Take note that this is not actually the seam allowance. So when cutting on your fabric, make sure you add your seam allowance, please. Make sure you add your seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and connect. So that's that. Then the next thing to do is, depending on how you want your bag to look, you can decide to make it any shape you want, curve, V. It all depends on the style you want to make. So for this tutorial, let's say I'm going to come down by 1, and I just want it to have a slant look at the back. I'm going to come down by 1, which is here. Then I'm going to use this to connect, just to connect here to here. So you see it's having that slant look. So that's that. Like I said earlier, depending on the style you want the bag, on how you want your bag to look like. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and cut. Looks like you can see it. In order not to get confused, make sure that you mark, you label. Here is the zip allowance. Zip allowance, so that you won't get confused. So that you won't get confused. See? So these are the back look. You can see it. You can see it. So as you can see, this is our front panel and this is our back panel. I hope you learned something from this video. If you do not forget to give me a thumbs up, like and share with your friends. So till I come your way next time with another interesting video, do have a lovely day.